trying to bang the door down and the door's closed. We cannot accept the fact that the door is closed. We cannot accept the fact that the relationship's done, that we're so fixated on what did not happen. That's what creates the pain and suffering. I mean, it's such a crazy experience for those of you that have gone through divorce or breakups. Like, it's literally your best friend. You go from best friends to strangers. In order to have more of what we want, whatever that happens to be, relationally, love, sex, passion, connection, physical health, more money, it requires that we have space. We need space to be able to allow that. In order to have the space, we've got to let go. You've got to have grace. You got to have patience. You got to love on yourself and calm yourself through it. But beating yourself up, getting angry, getting frustrated, hitting that door that's closed is not helping. And I've been going through some big transformational things here over the last several weeks. I mean, it has been painful. Well, welcome to the Burnout Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Nugent, here in Bricks, Salt Lake City. It is a brand house. It's revolutionary. The founder, Brett Shell, this is his idea, his creation. I've actually had him on my podcast in the past. I mean, this dude's a go-getter. It's incredible. And he's built an incredible community here. I'm honored to be one of the founding members here and have an office here. And the video team and the recording team and everybody that's here is phenomenal. This is going to be up-leveling this experience. For all those that are a part of it, for those of you that are in Salt Lake, you really need to check this out. What they're doing, again, is revolutionary. And so it's an honor here to be kind of here in the new studio. I'm going to be switching it up. There's multiple podcast rooms and different things here. So we're just going to jump into this. So welcome to the podcast today. I've talked about this in the past, about transformation, about growth, about up-leveling. This is the work that I do with men. It's something that I've embodied in my life. I know the highs of highs and the lows of lows, literally in every pillar, relationally, physically, financially, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. I know the depths of the darkness in each one of those and also the highs of highs. Many times, especially for men and businesses, and it's just more. You got to do more. You got to do more. You got to do more. In business, it's more systems, it's more people, it's more clients. It's just go. And same thing with fitness, right? You got to work out, you got to eat healthy, you got to push in relationships, all the different things. It's all about doing more. But I've said this, and I want to come back to this and go a little bit deeper into this, is transformation and growth and up-leveling is way more about letting go and releasing than it is about doing more. Now, I believe we are always at 100% capacity, always. You might have said this, or I've said this in the past. It's like, oh, I only had 20% to give today, or I only had 80%. Nope, that's bullshit. We're always at 100. Now, we might not be in the best headspace. We might be struggling. We might have all these things that we're dealing with. But nevertheless, every day we're at full capacity. We just are. And so in order to have more of what we want, whatever that happens to be, relationally, love, sex, passion, connection, physically, physical health, more money, more whatever, it requires that we have space. We need space to be able to allow that. And in order to have the space, we've got to let go. And it's the letting go, the accepting of what is what creates the most pain. That is actually the hardest part. That is the hardest thing as it comes to up-leveling and becoming better versions of ourselves and having what we want. It's letting go of old identities. It's letting go of old stories. It's letting go of all of that because, again, it's rooted in identity. It's rooted in worth, and that's where the work is. It's not, and you could take any industry, for example, right? I've got 4 sons now that do door to door, and I hear the stories. I hear their sales teams. These guys are crushing it. They've had their own, as they've been growing and evolving as men. There's obviously fear of rejection, fear of all these different things. So, of course, in order to be successful, let's say in door to door, and you're starting out, you've got to go knock. You've got to put the time in. You've got to go hit the street. Well, if you have, for example, beliefs, or you have, abandonment issues or attachment issues or scared of rejection or whatever it happens to be, that's where the work is. Now, regardless, you have to do the work. You have to put the steps forward, but we have to let go of certain things in order to be able to move into that next stage. We just have to. Many times too, we as men, right, to soften the weights of life, if you will, we turn to addictive patterns, whatever that happens to be: food, sex, porn, alcohol, Netflix, whatever, right? So we've got, and many times we'll get caught in the shame cycle of trying to numb the weight of life. Well, we've got to let those behaviors go because that's what's keeping us stuck. The biggest thing I also believe is when we have secrets, when we have betrayals, when we have things we haven't spoken to, that shit will weigh you down. It's a crack in the foundation. The core work of what I do is really foundational work. And if we have any cracks in our foundation as men, they will grow. And if you do not address them, They'll get bigger and bigger and bigger, and ultimately can lead to a total collapse in one part of your life, or, in my case, it was literally in every pillar of my life. So it's the letting go. It's the letting go. So for example, with somebody, let's say you're a married man, right? And your wife is, frustrated. You've done something or didn't do something, and she's frustrated. She's coming at you. She's coming at you. She's coming at you, right? And you get defensive, you get deflective, you try to push off, you try to blame her, whatever. And then you're having a whole thing around it. Okay. Well, in relationships, many times when somebody's coming at us or pointing something out that we're not doing, they're attacking. We take it, we view it as an attack on who we are, an attack on our identity. So for example, when I was married for 17 years. I was very codependent. When we were good, I was good. When we were bad, I was bad. It was probably more bad than good. And anytime my wife at the time had issues with me, like I took everything was personal. It just hurt. It just like, I couldn't handle it. And many times I couldn't even hear what she was saying because all I could hear was like, you're not enough. You're not, you're not this, you're not that. And what was interesting is, years into my marriage, I decided to finally go to therapy. And the therapist, after several sessions, I can't remember when it was, she looked at me and she says, Adam, do you feel worthy of love? And I couldn't even answer the question. I could not even answer that question. And I should have said, oh, hell yeah, I feel worthy of love. Yes. Hell yes. I couldn't even answer the question. Silence. That silence was a no. So what's interesting is no matter how much my wife would show up and whatever I wanted, if she was serving me, my love languages, whether it was physical touch, words of affirmation, whatever, no matter what, if there's a core belief inside of me that I feel like I'm not worthy of love, I will unconsciously push it away. It's almost like I reject it. So an example is like, you've got to, in that example, it took me after my getting divorced to really understand that like, hey, I'm worthy and deserving of anything and everything I want, period. Worth's not contingent on, it's not outside of me. But the reality is like, I had to let that go. And you can see too, that if that's part of your identity, right? What if all of a sudden, then you have to sit with it. It's like, wait a minute, this was me. Oh my gosh, I pushed her away. I did this, right? Then you have to sit with that. Then you have to sit with like, oh my heck, I'm responsible for this. It just hits your identity. It's painful. Hits the wound. Many of you know, like I used to be over 350 pounds. I stopped weighing myself at 350. I was morbidly obese. I literally hated the man in the mirror. I made a lot of money. My worth and identity was tied to money, but the guy in the mirror I couldn't stand. And the reality is miserable as I was, the food and everything was also serving me to a degree. I know that sounds weird now. And looking back, I'm like, how is this serving me? I'm miserable. I want to change, but I didn't want to change bad enough. So I had to let go of stories. I had to let go of attachments. And I had to also let go of the thought of the idea that I am worthy of physical health, that I'm actually worthy of it. I recently talked about this on another podcast. I launched a fitness program last year for men that have at least 30 to 40 pounds to lose. And I had, 28, 30 guys that signed up. And I had, half of them were over 300 pounds. And then I asked every one of them, I said, what's your ideal weight? I did not say, what do you think you can do? I said, what's your ideal? Like, blank canvas, you rub a genie lamp, whatever. This is what you get to weigh. Not one of those guys, not one listed a number under 250 pounds. I mean, one of these guys was 5'8". I mean, his ideal weight is probably like 170, 180. They said 250. And why did they say 250? Why do you think? It was shocking because, having gone through my own transformation, looking back, I can see it because I can connect to their pain. I know where they're at, but the truth of the matter is they didn't think it was possible. They did not think it was possible. I mean, I'm down over 140 pounds now. I didn't think this was possible. This is wild. This is all brand new to me. Every day is new to me. It's something new. I literally, no joke, I'll walk past the mirror and like I'll see my legs or I'll see veins or whatever. And I'm like, holy, who is that? It's just like, it's new. I'm experiencing something new for the very, very first time. But what's interesting is on my weight loss journey, there were barriers that I had to break through. I had the psychological barrier with 270 pounds. So over the years, I would put on a lot of weight in big weight swings. I mean, I had a couple 100-pound swings a couple times, 50-pound swings all the time, up, down, but I had this thing at 270. I'd hit 270 and I'd go over it. I'd come back down. And when I got below it, I'd always come back up to 270. So I had this like psychological block around 270. So when I finally like totally transformed my life and broke through that, it was fascinating to go from 270, like even the mental block of like, dude, am I worthy of this? Can I do this? Can I do this? Because I had a track record of years, literally years of being stuck at 270. I didn't think it was possible. I didn't think it was possible. I had to overwrite those stories. I had to let go. I had to let go. I can change. It's the letting go. Many times letting go also was letting go of people, right? We are some of the people we spend the most time with. So if you have certain core values or certain beliefs and you're surrounding yourself with people that don't feel that way, you've got a choice. I mean, you could have lifelong friends that, that you grow apart from, and it's painful. It's painful. I recently, and I think I shared this on a previous podcast, I recently had a really good friend. We were close, almost best friends for close to 10 years, and he lied to me. He lied to me. And I gave him multiple times to come clean on it, whatever, and he just didn't. And so it struck my core value. My number one core value today is integrity. Words and actions align. I was very open, shared a lot of things with him. Safe, right? He's my person. Safe. And he violated it. And that hurt. It was a deep, deep betrayal for me. And so, he apologized later when I kind of called him out on it, but I had to sit with that. And I'm like, can I actually trust this person? Am I willing to walk away? Your core values are non-negotiables. If you have things that you value that you're not willing to walk away with, that there's not a cost to it, it is not a core value. It's something you value. You got to be willing to walk away from anything. If that is the test of a core value. A core value will cost you something. But I had to let something go. I had to let somebody go that I cared deeply for. That was very painful to me. Very painful. And we'll still see each other and stuff, and it's like, it's friendly, we text here, but it's not the same. It's not the same. And will things change in the future? I don't know. But like right now, there's like this element of trust, and I can't do it because the truth of the matter is it has nothing to do with him. It has to do with me and violating my own core value. Letting that go hurt. That was painful. Painful. Especially kind of in the season that I was at. Relationships, right? Our identity's tied to this. We've got the girl in our hand, and it's like letting them go. Letting go. And it's not just the relationship breaking up. It's letting go of the future, what you wanted to do together. I mean, it's such a crazy experience for those of you that have gone through divorce or breakups. Like, it's literally your best friend. You go from best friends to strangers. I think there's a Katy Perry song that talks about this, but I mean, think about that. Your best friends in each other's life, and then all of a sudden nothing? Like nothing? And then the loss of that, the letting go of that, the identity, the beating yourself up, whatever it happens to be, that is the painful part. And what I talk a lot about and what I've learned is I'm learning to, and I'm embodying this thing, is learning to accept what is. I mean, the only thing we can control is us, period. We have no control over anybody else. Life happens to us. Life happens for us. But what we do with it is really our decision. A couple of years ago, we were in a home. Actually, what year is this? It was, 2020. And it actually was last year. One of my intentions last year is I wanted to learn to really truly accept what is. So we were in a home. My kids were gone. I have 4 sons. My kids were out of town. And I just happened to be downstairs, and I'm never really downstairs. It was late, and I heard something fall over in the basement. I'm like, what the hell is that? So I walked downstairs, and I'm like, is somebody down here? I walked down there. All of a sudden, I'm in 3 feet of water. The fridge had fallen over, the TVs, all my stereo stuff. I mean, the whole basement's flooded. There's like a river flowing in there. A sprinkler line had broken outside. So, of course, in the panic, running through the water, whatever, we get the water turned off. And, of course, I'm just pissed. Like, what the hell? And I'm sitting there, angry, frustrated, standing in 3 feet of water. And then I had the thing, hey, Adam, remember your tension? It's done. You can't change it. And it was fascinating that I accepted what is. The damage was done. And it was fascinating that just in that moment, accepting what is changed it. I mean, I was still angry. I was still frustrated, but it didn't. But the intensity of it literally went away. I didn't sleep that night. The disaster recovery people came. I mean, I was exhausted, but then, I just accepted what is. Fast forward a couple of days, trying to get insurance to cover the whole thing. It's a sprinkler leak. It's considered a flood. This, nuances with homeowners insurance. They were going to cover it. And so, my agent's like, well, maybe we can do this or this. And I told him, like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, integrity matters. Like, if they don't pay it, whatever, I'm just pissed. And so, lo and behold, they kept coming forward. They did not cover anything. And I'm just like, damn it. But then, okay, Adam, here's another opportunity. Accept what is. When we can accept what is, It doesn't mean we like it, but it's letting go, and it actually softens the pain of whatever we're feeling. That's the part that's so challenging, that's so difficult. And this comes up everywhere in business, right? We've got this deal, we're pushing for it. We've got to have the sale. We've got to do this. We've got to do that. And it doesn't happen. And the setback and the disappointment or the fear and all, and whatever stories come up. I could have done this, or I should have done that, or I'm not enough, or whatever the story is that you tell yourself. We all have stories we tell ourselves. But it's that letting go that's the most painful part. And I think this is most prevalent in, like, especially interpersonal and love relationships, right? The pain of that, because you're so connected, right? And especially if you're not one that necessarily, obviously you don't want it, or if you're not the one, let's say, your partner, your wife, whatever came to you, said, I'm done, whatever, and leaves, right? And you're fighting, and the door's closed, right? And we're trying to bang the door down, and the door's closed, and we cannot accept the fact that the door's closed. We cannot accept the fact that the relationship's done, that the business deal's done, whatever it happens, the basement has flooded. And we're so fixated on what did not happen. That's what creates the pain and suffering that we feel. It's not accepting what is. When I ended up losing my investment firm, it was a very, very painful process, extremely painful process. In the last 6 to 9 months and moving through all of that, I was numbing out like crazy. Anything I could find to numb out on. The pain, I could not accept it. It was so painful. The truth of the matter is, I exponentially intensified my pain and suffering because I wasn't willing to accept it. And then I got stuck into addictive cycles to just try to numb the pain out. And then finally, when it all kind of came out and it's all done, and then to feel it, and then to, be uninhibited, if you will, with anything, and to just feel it, and then just the full acceptance. I mean, it's taken a lot of time. Very, very painful. But once you let it go, once it happens, all of a sudden my eyes are open to all the other possibilities. I truly believe, I believe that we can, the best of everything, relationally, physically, financially, is in front of us. It's not necessarily in the rear view mirror. And we get so fixated on the past that we can't see in the future. So again, so dead set on the door that closed, whatever that happens to be, whatever pillar of life it's happening in, when we're so fixated on that, we don't see that there's another 10 doors that open. There's more opportunity. Oh my gosh, I didn't see this. I didn't think I would ever be able to experience love and connection, better than at the level that I'd felt before. Oh my gosh. I wouldn't wish divorce on my worst enemy, to anyone. Divorce is hell. Hell. And knowing the yin and the yang to everything, that experience helped me appreciate love and intimacy and connection at levels that I didn't even know existed. I didn't even know it was possible. I had no idea. And now I look back at all those moments with incredible gratitude. And I can honestly say that every hard thing that's happened to me has been a gift. Every hard thing that happens to you is actually a gift. I recently wrote an article on Substack called The Ugliest Box Under the Christmas Tree. And I gave this analogy, all these beautiful Christmas boxes that are all under the tree. And then there's this box in the back. It looks like the UPS guy lost it for 20 years, all duct taped up. It's the last thing to open. There's no name tag on it, whatever. It's like, whose is that? It's like, what is that? I don't know. And you open it up, and there's another crappy box, and then all of a sudden you get to the middle, and there's this massive diamond inside of it. We just don't see it yet. And so what I've learned with the men that I work with and kind of working through this, it's the letting go, and we can let go and we can accept what is. Then we get to move into what we want. Then we get to move into who we want to be, to have what we want. And we are the authors and the creators of our life. No one is coming to save any one of us. We're here to save ourselves. We get to choose the story. We get to write. We get to decide. You get to decide what your worth is. You get to decide what you want. You get to decide and then go after it. And again, it's a process. It's not a straight line up, straight line down. There's ups and downs all the time. And we will fall back into old patterns. We will fall back into old belief systems. We will fall back into old stories. It's when we fall back, having strategies and tools that you can get you out of it, so you're not in it as maybe once you're not in it as deep as you maybe once have been in it before. That makes sense. And so it's this letting go. And I've got 4 sons. I coach with my boys. I was with my son today, and I said, listen, if you ever find in your head, frustrated, angry, something's not working out the way it is, it's not you need to pause, you need to like acknowledge it, get awareness of what's going on. But 9.9 times out of 10, it's not about doing more, it's about letting go of something. You got to let go. Letting go creates the space. Letting go releases the pressure valve. It takes the shame cycle. It's the letting go. And, you know, the more you're able to let go, the more capacity you're able to have. And many times, depending upon the severity of whatever you're experiencing or have experienced, let's say right now you're going through something extremely difficult. Maybe it's financially, maybe it's relationally, physically, right? It takes time. You've got to have grace. You got to have patience. You got to love on yourself and calm yourself through it. But beating yourself up, getting angry, getting frustrated, hitting that door that's closed is not helping. The acceptance what is also creates capacity. Letting go of limiting beliefs creates capacity. And of course, it requires also action. Nothing happens without actually doing something. It's not like, you know, you have a relationship that ended that all of a sudden, you know, God's going to show up on the front doorstep and just hand you this, you know, the quote unquote perfect woman, right? You've got to go out and do the work. You've got to be what you want to attract. You've got to do the work. And the more and more and more you can point the finger at yourself, the more and more you can take accountability for who you are and the role that you play, because you are the common denominator. We are all the common denominator in our life. We are responsible for how we show up. We're not always responsible for what happens to us, but we are 100% responsible with what we do with it. And we always play a role. And anything that happens to us, we play a role, no matter what. And when you can move through that and you can see it and then not attach your worth to it, you can move through shit, big stuff, fast, quickly. I mean, I'm shocked today because as I've been doing this over the last several years, I'm able to move through things, disappointments faster. I don't let, you know, it's like, okay, it is what it is and accept it. And I'm not saying there's not painful things. I mean, I've been going through some big transformational things here over the last several weeks. I mean, it has been painful. I'm in uncharted territory in some degree. But also as I continue to move forward, work through my processes to not attach to it and just keep showing up, even when I don't want to, even when I'm not feeling it, that's where magic happens. That's where magic happens. So as we wrap up today, I just want, again, to invite you and challenge you that if whatever you're struggling with right now, whatever the severity of it is, take a minute and see what you need to let go of. See what you need to accept. Breath, working out, move your body, like just sitting in this cycle of pain and regret or whatever, or just anger and frustration and sadness and depression. I'm telling you, you're keeping yourself there. I did it for a long time. If you're in an addictive cycle, you got to pull yourself out of it. Guess what? When you pull yourself out of it, it's painful. You got to find something to replace it. You got to do something. It will be uncomfortable, but I promise you it'll pass. No matter what it is, it will pass. One day at a time. And maybe it's 1 hour at a time. Maybe it's 10 minutes at a time. Set short-term goals, because any one of us could do anything for a day. Any one of us can do anything for a day. So again, let go. Create the capacity, create the space for what you want than who you want to be. It's always more about letting go than doing more. Thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you, and we'll see you next week on the Burn Up Podcast.